so much for being here today.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for throwing lemonade at me earlier today. About 5 minutes ago. Could have been an ugly scene. Sorry, I pace a lot. I'm really trying to work on that. So I'll be wandering all over the place today. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I thought it would be Karen and I since it's the last Friday before Christmas. So I'm just thrilled to see this many people. I'd really like to thank the PCAR Education Committee for having me, Karen for sponsoring me in that committee. And I'd also like to thank Robin in the back for putting up with my borderline OCD over the last couple of weeks and all the nonsense that I put her and Karen through. I want to start in 2005. Whoa. 2005 was an incredible market. It was hot. All you had to do was get listings. You were guaranteed a check in 30 days or less. Buyers had a tough time getting in. Had to write them for over. Listing agents just had to pick from lots of offers. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So I had a listing in 2005, Rancho Cordova. It's coming up, it was August 2005. I think it was 260, 265, somewhere in that price range. It was gonna sell quick. So I told my sellers, I said, we need to get you into contract on a replacement property because you're gonna need to move like in 30 days or less. Back then, we could write non-contingent loans or non-contingent offers because you could get 2 loans. You could get as many loans as you wanted. It was like Oprah, you want a loan, you want a loan, you want a loan, everybody got a loan. So that's what we did. We got them into contract on a non-contingent. I listed it. I listed their current house. Go through the first weekend, and back then we didn't have the technology that we have now to where I could see who was coming and going. So I called the sellers and said, I haven't heard anything this weekend. What's going on? He said, nothing. What do you mean nothing? Were you home? Do you have your answer machine on? They had answer machines back in 2005. Yes, we were home. Oh, did I put the wrong number in the MLS? I checked. No, it's right. Wow. I called another agent who also had a listing. And he said, I had 1 showing, no offers. I thought, wow, it just must have been a bad weekend. Go through the next weekend, I get 1 showing and no offers. And I said, uh-oh, something's going on in this market. I'd only been in the business just over 2 years at that time. I go and talk to my broker the next day. I said, what's going on? He said, Brad, you better prepare yourself. And let me tell you, nothing good ever starts with, Brad, you better prepare yourself. You better learn, you need to prepare yourself financially, put some money away, and you need to learn about short sales and REOs. And I said, short sales, that sounds fantastic. The shorter the better, the faster I get my check. Sign me up for that. But what the hell's an REO? And he explained to me that that was real estate owned, a bank term for foreclosures. So he went through the process of how all of that works. And I decided that I wanted to be a listing agent for foreclosures. So I went to work on a plan. Those of you that know me know that I'm a planner, and it can be a real pain. But I went to work on a plan to become a listing agent. The first part of the plan was get help. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So we had an agent in our office. His name was Dan Garcia. Great guy. He lived in Yuba City, and he had been doing foreclosures for a long time, long time. And he started getting listings in Sacramento, Citrus Heights, foreclosure listings, and he needed help managing those. So I said, Dan, I'll do it for free. I'll do whatever you need me to do for free. Just teach me how to get these foreclosure listings. And he did. And we worked together for months and months and months. And what seemed like a billion BPOs later, I got my first listing. Yay, I'm gonna be rich. I got my first foreclosure listing. Let's go. Before long, I thought I was the king of North Islands. I had lots of listings at $65,000 and 2% commission. Banks don't pay full commission. Do the math, $1,300. And listing agents also get the honor of putting the utilities in their name and covering those costs. And they get to do trash out, rekeys, anything that the house needs to go on the market, the listing agent fronts that money. They get paid eventually, 3 to 6 months later, you'll get a check. You got to cover all that. There were times when my reimbursements were 3 and 4 times more than my commission check. It didn't take long for me to figure out this is not going to work. I'm going to go broke. $1,200 commissions when I'm putting out $4,000 and $5,000. Cash flow's not there. I'm going to go broke. So I went to work on another plan and went back to the drawing board. I said, I need to increase my average sale. I'm selling a house for $65,000, which even in 2007 was really cheap. And I need to increase that average commission. 2% is not cutting it. The average then was about 2.5. So I did. I got this plan and I started working it. And what I found was the system that I made can be done by anyone, and it works in all markets. Up markets, down markets, all markets. And I still use pieces of that system today. Flash forward 2022. I see storm clouds. And I said, I need to do something to help my clients and other agents get through this storm. So I went back and I looked, all the things I did, my system that I had, and then I asked some friends, some of which are here. I remember I asked Jeffrey, if we were going to go back through this situation again, what are the top things that you would do? So I took that information and what I had done with the program that I did back in the day, and I formulated what's called the Plan Your Pivot program. This is an extensive program that gives step-by-step what to do, how to do it, where to go to get educated on it, how to market it. It's extensive. Obviously, we can't go over that whole thing here today. So what we decided to do was pick the 10 items that I think are most important. These 10 items will hopefully spark something that will help you get through this storm. Before I get started, if you don't mind, if you could hold questions to the end, write them down, put them in your phone. I'll probably answer them somewhere in the presentation. If there are any questions at the end and we have time, I'll answer all that I can. If I can't get to them during the presentation, I'll stay after and answer all your questions personally, okay? Sales are down. Sacramento, Placer, El Dorado County is about 40%. They're trending down right now. You all know that. I looked at, that's through November. I went through December. It's a little bit more, but it's December, so we'll stick with 40. So my question to you is, if we're down 40%, what does that leave? Answer. 60% is a correct answer. Thank you. That's not what I'm looking for, but that is a correct answer. What I'm looking for is that. More than enough. That's what's left. There's more than enough still for all of us. That's our theme for today. More than enough. Yes, we're down 40%. That leaves plenty of business for everyone. Fed's hitting us. They have their target on our industry. They set it, they're doing it. We're their target. So what do we do about that? I see no end in sight, at least this year, on the Fed. So what do we do about it? We bury our heads in the sand? Look at this guy. What the hell's up with him? He's going to be sore tomorrow, that guy. We don't bury our heads in the sand. Do we hide in the corner and hope it goes away? No. What we do is we make a plan. Don't procrastinate. And the first step to making a plan is to know what your goals are. So what are our goals? What are we here? Why are we here today? Somebody help me out. What are we here doing?
Increasing sales.
Increasing sales.
Make a living.
Make a living. What I'd like to do is say that a different way. We want to increase our income, correct? Okay. So there's several ways that you can get more sales, and we're going to talk about some of those. What I'd like to talk about right now is 3 other ways that you can increase your income without gaining sales. I'll say that again. There's 3 other ways to increase your income without getting more sales. Any ideas what those 3 would be?
Cut the cost.
I'm sorry?
Cut the cost.
Cut the costs. Reduce expenses. Thank you. Very good. That's one. Nobody ever gets that one. Great job. Get your average commission up. That's number 2. Wow, you guys are good. Karen said charge more. What's the other one? Increase your average sale. So I was selling homes for $60,000. I needed to get that way up. And I was selling homes with the 2% commission. I needed to get that average sale up, right? So I want to show you how those 3 things alone, without increasing the number of sales, the number of sides that you get, I'd like to show you how this works. I'm a numbers geek, so bear with me on this. The 10-10 challenge, I call this, 10-10-10 challenge. So this year, let's say you did 10 sides, 500K was your average sale, your average commission's 2.5. You did 5 million, your expenses were 50,000, that leaves you 75,000, okay? That's this year. So next year, your goal, the challenge is, can I increase my average sale by 10%, my average commission by 10%, and can I cut expenses by 10%? Let me show you how that works. So we're doing the same sides. The average sale went up to 550. Your average commission went up to 2 3/4, 10%. Total sales now are 5.5 million. And you cut your expenses by 10%, so you're at 45,000. Okay? Let's see what that does to your bottom line. You just put $31,000 in your pocket by doing those 3 things without increasing sales. $31,000. That's the same as 2.5 sides for this person. $31,000. We're going to talk about those things today and how to do that. First slide, and I already made you 31K. And you got lunch today. Come on.
I love it.
Number 2, prepare yourself mentally and financially. I'm going to start with mentally because in my mind, it's the single most important part of any plan of life, of business. You have to prepare yourself mentally. I come from a long line of negativity. It's not my family's fault. It's the way they were raised. They think they're being cautious. They think they're being helpful. But we all have some level of negativity. All of us do. We wouldn't be here today if we didn't. And that negativity that I'm talking about that everybody has is the one that wakes you up at 3 in the morning and you say, holy crap, this market's going to crash. What am I going to do? Everybody has that. But you need to learn how to offset it. That's what we're going to try to talk about today. The number 1 reason people fail in life is because they listen to their friends, family, and neighbors. Napoleon Hill. It's funny, when I first saw this, I thought it was Napoleon Dynamite. I go, that's kind of deep for Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, it's Napoleon Hill. Makes sense. I have a lot of what I call yabbits and what ifs in my life. Yabbits and what ifs are the people that you could say, I just won $1 billion in the lottery. And they'd say, yeah, but you only get 500 million afterwards. Or, what if they find out where you live and they kidnap you for ransom? Those are yabbits and what ifs. How many people have yabbits and what ifs in your life? Come on. You know what they say, if you don't, you're it. I got a hand raised there.
That was a late.
Okay. And like I said, I have this long line of negativity, and I thought that's just the way life is. It's just, I'm that way. Happy people are happy. I thought just the way life was. But my daughter, Sierra, who has her degree in psychology from UNLV and her master's in secondary education, yes, brag time, very proud of my daughter. She said, Dad, positivity is a choice. I said, what are you talking about? She said, no, really. There's chemicals in your brain, and when you have negative thoughts, your brain produces more of that negative chemical. If you offset that with positive thoughts, your brain creates another chemical or produces more of that chemical, and you have more positive thoughts. And I said, you mean to tell me that those people that are happy all the time, they have this perfect life, you know, those annoying people, that's a choice? And she said, yeah, to a certain extent, it is a choice. So I did what any self-respecting father who had a child that studied a subject for 6 years did. I Googled it. And you know what? She was right. That was an aha moment for me right there. Like, really? I can really just offset it with positive thought? So I started doing some research, books that she gave me, and I came up with a routine. Mornings were really tough for me. I wake up and that black cloud was there and I was negative. The whole day's gonna suck. Don't talk to me until I have 2 cups of coffee. And I started this routine to where now when I wake up, that cloud's still there. It's there. But I start with gratitude. What I have in my life. And then I think about the day and what positive things are going to happen in the day. That and 2 cups of coffee helped me start my day much, much better. And then at noon, I have another routine. I do this almost every day. I start with gratitude. I go to visualization. And then I move to thanking higher powers for watching over me and my family. And then I look at what the positive things are going to happen in my future. Between those 2 things, my days are much better. Now, am I Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky? Anybody that works with me knows much better than that. I'm not always Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, but I am so much better than I used to be. And I enjoy life so much more. So when you have the negative thoughts and you hear these negative things, you need to ask yourself, how can I offset that negativity? And we are hearing a ton of it about our industry right now. How can I offset that? There's lots of tools. Music, I use music all the time. In the start of all my courses, I start every client with what I call the mindset module. And it talks about music and other tools that you can use. Affirmations, visualization, and thoughts of abundance. What's another way of saying abundance? More than enough. More than enough. So think about abundance and thinking about more than enough. The second part of 2 is prepare yourself financially. Okay. You should have 1 year of expenses plus what you pay yourself available to you. And I know people are out there thinking, there's no way in hell I have that. I said available to you, not in the bank. So let's say the McDonald's guy that opens a franchise down the street, you think he had the cash to do that? No, he didn't. He financed his business. Now, it's hard for us to get business loans in the real estate industry. I know that. However, I just had a client 2 weeks ago tell me that he got an SBA loan and that's how he's going to fund his pivot going into next year. So I haven't looked into it. Look into that. It sounds like a great source. But you have to fund your business. Otherwise, you're going to start cutting things that you shouldn't be cutting. You're going to say, I can't afford to do this and I can't afford to do that. Another source, and this is how most agents are bootstrapped and small business are bootstrapped. That means you just scrape and get his money anywhere you can. That's how most businesses are bootstrapped. I'll tell you the other way is a HELOC loan. That's how I started 2003. I was a young guy, had a young family. I didn't have enough money to fund a new business. I had a HELOC. And that got me started. They're a great source of funding to fund your pivot and to keep your business going in slow times. And you have to do that. We're going to talk about ways to get more business, but it takes time. You have to fund the changes. HELOCs, it's a line of credit. You have it there if you need it. You only pay on what you use, and I think you only pay a fee if you don't use any of it. And when you do pay, it's interest only. It's much cheaper than any other source of financing a business. We have Scott here from Golden One. You want to raise your hand, Scott? He's got some information on HELOCs for you if you would like them afterwards. You have to prepare yourself financially. You need money to make these changes and to survive storms, okay? So that was number 2. I lost my clicker. Number 3. Prepare your business. How many people here use QuickBooks or some other form of accounting system with their real estate business? Okay, we have a few. If you don't, you should. You really should. It's a helpful tool. It'll pay for itself in no time. And I believe CAR is now offering, if you look on the CAR website, they're offering Hurdler, which looks like a pretty simple program to me. It's all done in the cloud, and it's free. So I would look into that, but you need to have some type of accounting system. Now, for those of you that have the accounting system, run your expense report for this year. Those of you that don't, get the pile of receipts that you have that you're going to send to your accountant next month, and all of you go through every receipt and every line and ask yourself, did this expense produce any income this year? If the answer is no, did it produce me any income last year? If the answer is no, kill it. Get rid of it. That's my rule. Two years of non-productive marketing or expense of any kind, I get rid of it if it did not produce me any income. Could be your favorite marketing tool that used to produce long ago. Kill it. This is not the time to be putting money into something that is not producing income. Now, if you ask yourself, did this produce income for this year? Yes, keep it. But am I able to trim that a little bit? Remember, one of our goals was to reduce expenses. Can I trim it a little bit and still get the same ROI off of it? That's your question. And if you did make money on something 2 years ago but not this year, you need to ask yourself again, is that going to work in the new market? If it's not, kill it or cut it, one or the other. Okay? So I have a lot of people ask me, how much should I be cutting? You know what I tell them? More than enough.
More than enough.
All right. Number 4, monitor the market. You are the experts. I'm sure most of you probably look at the MLS at least 5 times a week. You know your market. You know what's happening in your market. But you need to expand that out. You need to also know what's happening in markets that affect your market. So let's say you're doing Roseville, Rockland, Granite Bay. You need to also know what's happening in all of South Placer. You need to know what's happening in Sacramento, and you need to know what's happening in the Bay Area. All of those markets affect our market. Now, you don't need to look at those every day. You can just look at the trends. I look at them at least once a week because I'm a numbers geek. But if you look at them at least monthly and know what the trends are in those markets, you're going to see where our market's going to go. And it's a great way to know what you're going to do with your marketing and budgeting and all of those things. And we have some great resources here that I sell in Tahoe, and I also sell in the Bay Area. And we are so lucky what we get free as far as gaining information. You have Trend Vision. Does everybody know that on the MLS? You need to be looking at Trend Vision, and you can look at all those areas that I just told you about. Excuse me. And then we also have Ryan Lundquist. I told you, I'm a numbers geek. I used to do all this stuff, spreadsheets. Jeffrey can tell you how much of a numbers geek I am. I have spreadsheets. I have all this stuff. And I used to do this all the time. And then I found Ryan's blog, and it's like, oh, I'm in heaven. Look at that pie graph over there. Look at the spreadsheet there. Oh, God. Ryan does everything that I did and more. If you're not on Ryan's blog, get on Ryan's blog. You have to know what's going on in your market and surrounding markets. Number 5, maintain your current client base. Please, 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 please. Never stop marketing to your sphere. They got you in this business, they've kept you in this business, and they're going to get you out of this storm. Never stop marketing to your sphere. Also, any other marketing that you're working on right now or that is working right now, keep it going. We talked about cutting expenses. If it's producing income, you cannot cut it in a down market. You need that income coming in. So when you analyze your expenses and your marketing, you need to make sure you keep your current client base. I do get agents that ask me, how often should you be marketing to your client base? I mean, your sphere. And you know what I tell them? More than enough. I market to mine 18 times a year on average. And then plus I send all of my closings to them in a postcard that just sold to all of them. Everybody's different. It just depends. But you should be touching them at least once a month. And don't stop doing that. All right, number 6, shift your marketing towards buyers. How many people right now would love to have a high-end buyer? Only 4 of you, huh? Okay. I know I would. Buyers have the power right now. I detail several ways you can do this in the course, and there's tons of different ways you can market towards buyers. And I want to make sure that you're saying high-end buyers. We're trying to raise our average sale and our average commission, remember? So how can I market to high-end buyers? And I'll tell you one way that I've done extremely well with over the years. I'll talk about 2 ways. The first one is new homes. Yeah, just 5 months ago, they wouldn't even answer our emails, let alone pay us a commission. The times they are a-changing. I'm seeing an average of 3% and as high as 5% out there right now. It's a great way to increase your average sale and your average commission. New homes. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I get new home buyers without them going to the builder first? You market them. You have to market them. Again, I go over several ways to do that. I wish I had time to get into it. I have a lot of fun with this. A lot of fun with this. And I've done really well with new homes, especially in down markets. I had clients in 2007 in contract with the Standard Pacific Home, $650,000. That was a lot of money in 2007. And Christofferson Homes, you remember them up in Whitney Ranch? Big houses. They sent out an email to all the agents and said, if you sell one of these standing inventory homes, we'll give you 10% commission. 10%. This is on December 1st. You had to close by the end of the year. I looked it up. There's a floor plan that I thought would work for my buyers. I call them and they said, ooh, that's like 100,000 more. I said, let's go see. Let's just go take a look. They bought the damn thing. $75,000 commission. Talk about increasing your average sale and increasing your commission. It's huge. That's huge. New homes. We're not there yet. I don't think we're going to get to 10%. That company went broke soon after that. They did. It was too bad because they're a good builder. We're not there yet, but we're going to get a little bit higher. 5% right now I've seen out there. Plus, for your buyers, there's a lot of incentives. A lot of them. They're giving away the farm. Especially now. If you have a cash buyer that could close by the end of the year, you could just go in there and, I can't use that term, but you could do a lot for your client, I guess I'll say. The other way is vacation homes that I've done extremely well with. Now, I know there's not a whole lot of vacation homes around here, but the point is there are lots of different ways to market to higher end buyers. So ask yourself, how can I market to higher end buyers? Step out of your box. You have the funding, we talked about that. How can we market to higher end buyers? All right, so that was number 6. So what I want to do now is I want to do what the MLB does and do a 7th inning stretch. So we're gonna take a break for 3 minutes and 26 seconds exactly. And the reason why I know that is because that's how long Sweet Carolina is, just like the Sox do. Here we go. See you back here, 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Number 7, educate yourself on specialized niches. Now, I want to tell you that it mentions REOs, short sales up there. And I have this presentation is used all over the United States for clients. And I tell you here locally, I am not seeing the REOs and the short sales yet. The NODs aren't there. Credit defaults aren't there. I hope we don't see them. I'm not seeing them yet, so I'm not saying to focus on those yet. This is part of knowing what's going on in your market. If you start seeing NODs, anybody know what an NOD is? Notice of default. It's the first step to foreclosure. If you watch those and you start seeing those increase, you know what's next. It's foreclosures. And you start seeing short sales. When you start seeing those, that's when you really need to dive in. Again, I'm not seeing it here yet. I hope I don't. So let's talk about some other specialized niches. And I mentioned 2 up here, and I'm going to add 1 other. The first one is relos. So you need to get educated in relos. You're not going to get a relo unless you're certified. So that's part of the get educated. But let me tell you what I think is going to happen in relos. We haven't had many at all in the last 2 years because of COVID. Everybody's working from home. When we start getting back to normal, I think these businesses are going to start moving their employees again. And who gets moved? It's not the guy on the factory floor. It's the higher end guys. That's how you increase your average sale. and increase your average commission, those higher end sales, reloads are a great source. I have a lot of friends that have done well over the years with reloads. I used to do, when Walmart was really growing in this area, I did Walmart store managers. And it never failed. I'd go pick them up at like 8 a.m. These are hardworking folks, 8 a.m. Pick them and their spouse up. We'd look at houses all day long. I'd drop them off in the evening at the airport, and it never failed. This happened 5 or 6 times. They'd call me the next morning and tell me what house they want. And they bought it. And 9 times out of 10, they were brand new homes. Reloads are a great source. Get educated on it. The next one is probate. You really need your education in probate. Yes, we have forms for it. A lot of people think they're an expert on probate. Let me tell you, when you get up in front of a judge in a probate hearing, you better know what the hell you're talking about. Get educated on it. Get educated on a state of California education program. We have a member here, John Cooper. I think he's here today, but he just does a phenomenal job in probate. And that's because he's worked at it for years. But probate is a great way, and it just comes down to marketing. If that's the path you decide to go down, you need to get educated, and then you need to put your marketing plan together. Okay? The last one I'm going to talk about, and there's tons of opportunities out there. Gosh, there's so many different niche markets. I love niche markets. That's my thing, is niche markets. I wish I had more time to go over all of them that I list in the course, but this is just 3 really important ones to me. So the last one is senior transition. We got a lot of baby boomers right now that are moving into homes for health reasons or because they want to live that lifestyle. I'm an SRES. About 6 years ago, I decided to go after this business. I put together my team, and you need a team for this to do it right. You have to have movers, you have to have somebody that sets up the new place just like the old one, so grandma knows where the remote control is, so she knows where the knives and forks are. It's a big deal. You have to have somebody that'll do that for them. Then they come in after grandma's moved, they have an estate sale, they have it cleaned, and they turn the house over to me. That was the team that I had set up. I did this about 5 times. And then I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the patience to deal with seniors. I'm sorry, it takes patience to deal with seniors. And when God was handing out patience, I didn't want to stand in line. I got none. I got no patience. So if you're a patient person, like my wife, most patient person in the world has to be, been married almost 33 years to me. She has to be very, very patient. She would be, if she was in the business, she would be wonderful at that. Recognize when a niche is not for you. My clients were happy, don't get me wrong. I took care of my clients, they were ecstatic. It just drove me freaking nuts though. So just, when you look at niches, make sure it's something that you want to do. And that should be with any of the business that we talk about today. It's really important that you enjoy doing it. More than just your mindset that you enjoy doing it, you'll do it. You'll actually follow through and do it if you enjoy doing it, okay? Number 8, skipping ahead. Number 8, expand your market area. If anybody's going to the Bahamas, call me, I'll come down, we'll do a conference for a week. You don't have to go to the Bahamas, you don't have to go to Dillon Beach, you don't have to go to Tahoe. I chose to go there because those are 2 of my favorite places to be. It's Dillon Beach and Lake Tahoe. I opened Dillon Beach Realty in 2012. I was down there on vacation. I've been going there since I was 5 years old. I'm down there on vacation and I Googled Dillon Beach real estate. And nothing came up. I bought every domain name that had to do with Dillon Beach and real estate. And I told my wife, here we go again. She rolled her eyes and shook her head and opened a little bottle of champagne. I've been doing that market for a long time now, and I've done very well there. I did the same thing at Meeks Bay, West Shore, Lake Tahoe. I duplicated what I did in Dillon Beach in Meeks Bay. Don't be afraid to go outside your market area. And I get people that ask me all the time, do you really drive to Dillon Beach to show houses? Yes, I do. It's about 6 hours round trip plus showing houses. But ask yourself, how many times would you do that for $37,000 commission? My average sale at the beach is $1.5 million. I'm in contract right now on a 1.85. I'm not saying that you have to drive 3 hours. I go to Tahoe too, it's an hour and a half, and my average sale there is about 900 to $1 million. I love being in Lake Tahoe. How blessed am I to be able to sell houses and overlook Lake Tahoe? People come from all over the world to go to Lake Tahoe. I get to work there and sell houses that do that. The same at the ocean. The house that I'm in contract in right now, it was a listing of mine, and it's got incredible ocean views. I love doing open houses there. And there's a lot of times in both Tahoe and Dillon's, I just have to stay 2 or 3 days. You know, I gotta put a sign up, I gotta put a lockbox on, gotta get things ready for the photographer. That's gonna take at least 3 days to do those things. Same in Lake Tahoe. And it's a tax write-off. Every time I go either one of those places, it's a tax write-off. This is not going live, right? Expand your physical market area. Now, I talked about the areas I'm in. You don't have to go that far. There are markets in your backyard. They're there. I told you I love niches. They're there. It's a challenge for me to find niches. I can have a client tell me an area where you live, and I ask them a few simple questions, and I can find a niche for them. They're there. Let's say you do Roseville, Rockland, Granite Bay. I guarantee you, somewhere in Folsom, there's a neighborhood that is underserved by agents that has an average sale of somewhere 750 to 800, an older neighborhood that's not the new hot place to be, so agents don't market it. You just have to do the research. And of course, I go over all the details and what to look for those homes, how to market it, all of those things. It's fun to me. It's just fun. It's like fishing. Okay, I know there's a fish on that point. How do I get it to bite? That's the way I look at it. Expand your physical market. Now, number 9, get help. Look for your Dan Garcia. God, I'm so thankful to have Dan. He was just fantastic. Ask your broker manager, is there somebody in your office that can be the Dan Garcia? Can they help me formulate a plan to get through this storm? It might be your broker manager. If there's nobody, look at coaching. Coaching is fantastic if you get the right coach. It gives you confidence, it gives you accountability, it keeps you on track. But no matter what you do, either coaching or a person that you know or referred to help you, they need to have 3 things. Number 1, do they currently sell real estate? If they don't currently sell real estate, they don't know what's going on in the market. And it changes weekly, you know that. You need somebody that knows what they're talking about in today's market. Number 2, have they been selling real estate for at least 15 years consecutively? If not, they didn't go through the last downturn. They can't tell you how to help because they didn't do it. Number 3, do they have a plan or a formula that you can follow to make your own plan? And it's really important, folks, that you make your own plan. You can't copy somebody else's. I can't say, I'm going to do Jeffrey's plan or Chris's plan or somebody else's because I'm not going to believe in it like if it's my own. Do the research, do all the things that we're talking about, and formulate your plan. Number 9 was get help. Number 10, launch that sucker. Once you get your plan done, launch it. Don't listen to the yabbits, the what-ifs, and the naysayers. Launch it. Once you launch it, work it. Success is nothing more than a few simple decisions practiced every day. I get agents asking me all the time, especially brand new agents, what's the secret? What's that silver bullet that's going to make me successful? I say, come here. There isn't one. Consistency, persistence, and determination. Those are the three things in any business that will make you successful. Consistency, persistence, and determination. Be consistent, persistent, and don't give up. You're going to have to change your plan multiple times. There's no such thing as a perfect plan. It has to change. Be consistent, persistent, and determined. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is something that changed my life. Never told this in public, so please bear with me. Oops. My pacing. True masters are those who have chosen to make a life rather than a living. My grandmother used to say it a different way. So don't get so busy making a living that you forget to live a life. She told me that when I was young and first started working. She was very smart. Both of my grandmothers were two of the smartest people I've ever known in my life. Very intuitive also. I was very blessed to have them in my life. Unfortunately, I didn't listen, as most grandsons don't. I worked a lot for a lot of years. This May will be my 20th year in the business, 20 years at PCAR. Over that time, I've sold hundreds and hundreds of homes. I've made a damn good living doing it. But how many homes I sell, how much money I make, how much money I have, the toys that I have, the car that I drive, it's not how I define success anymore. There are three ways that I define success. Three things that are very important to me. My family, my friends, and me. And what I mean by that, am I the father that I want to be? Am I the husband that I want to be? And am I living the life that I want to live? Am I doing the things that I want to do with the people that I want to be with? That's how I measure success now. You know, back in 2016, I was not only working real estate 40, 50, 60 hours a week, but years before that, I'd also started a sporting goods business, a wholesale sporting goods business that I worked in my spare time. So I literally worked 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day for years and years. The sporting goods business required a little bit of travel, January and February mostly. That kind of worked out because real estate, those are my slower months. Thursday before Super Bowl 2016, I'm on my way home from being on the road off and on for several weeks. I'm exhausted. I just want to get home. And my phone rings, and I wouldn't have picked it up, but it was one of my closest friends. I picked up, said, "Hey Tony, what's up?" He said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that we're having a Super Bowl party this Sunday, and I want you guys to come by. We haven't seen you in a long time. You and Susan need to come by." So I said, "God, yeah, I'd love to see you guys. It's been too long." So I'm exhausted, but we'll get by. I'll try to get by. Super Bowl comes. I'm in my office doing paperwork, getting caught up because I've been on the road. I've got listings coming up at the beach, and I'm just too busy. I called Susan and said, "We can't go. I just got too much to do." Monday morning comes. I get a call from Tracy's, Tony's wife, who said, hey, I just wanted to let you know. Tony's in the hospital. Got a brain tumor. They think it's glioblastoma, and he might only have 12 months to live. Of course, I'm in shock. Why, how? I drive down to the hospital. Thank God I was in town. I remember pulling into the parking lot, and I'm just in this fog like, this can't be true. Not Tony. I walk in the hospital, and I just get nailed with that damn hospital smell, and it knocks me into reality. This is true. I find his room. I take a deep breath. I walk in, and Tony says, thanks for coming to the party, asshole. I said, I'm so sorry, and I gave him a hug. I was never a hugger until I met Tony. He's a big guy, full of life, and he was all in on bear hugs. You had no choice. I gave him that hug, sat down, and we started talking about life. Started talking about business. He was a businessman too. And then we started talking about basketball. Mitch is here. He knew me back in that day. Tony and I coached basketball together for years. We coached the same team, same boys, at all levels. Same team over all these years. His son Zach, my son Steven were on the team. It's how we met, it's how we became friends. So we were talking about, we used to travel as a team all over the state. We would go to different tournaments. And all the families would stay in the same hotel. And the kids would be running around being a bunch of knuckleheads. And the parents were together being a bunch of knuckleheads. And we just had a great time. And we talked about how those were some of the best times of our lives. And they were. Then Tony said, you know, it's better this happens to me than it happening to my kids or Tracy. And I think we all would say that. We would much rather have something like that happen to us than one of our loved ones. Then he said, it's much better that this happened to me than your kids or Susan or you. And he was being strong, but I knew he meant it. I knew he meant it. I looked in his eyes and I didn't see any fear. There was no fear in his eyes at all. All there was sadness. His eyes were just full of sadness. I still see it today. Tracy comes in and says, I'm sorry, there's several people that want to see him. So I give him a hug, say, I'll see you tomorrow. Head back to my car, and I'm just sitting in my car, staring out the window, thinking about Tony, his life, how short and unfair life can be. And I started thinking about my life and all that I had. And then I got angry. I looked in the rear view mirror and I said, what the hell are you doing with your life? You're never home. You're always working. When you are home, you're not present. You're not the father you want to be. You're not the husband you want to be. And you're not the friend that Tony and your other friends deserve. You need to change your life now. So I did. I made a commitment right then and there to change my life. Over the next several months, I sold my sporting goods business. I took my family on the first real vacation in over a decade. A decade. Isn't that sad? I changed my life. Susan and I bought an RV. We put it on a lake about an hour from our house. We're there almost every Thursday and Friday. I fished more that year than I had in the 10 years prior combined. I fished so much, I got tennis elbow. True story. Jeffrey can tell you I had the brace on for like a year. We go fishing every evening. Our favorite part, on the way back in, it seems like we have the most beautiful sunsets that I've ever seen. We get oranges and reds and pinks. It's amazing. Susan has a little bottle of champagne she takes with her. She loves champagne. She pops it if we catch fish or not. I changed my life. Tony passed away. Tony passed away 26 months after he was diagnosed. "51 years old, left behind 3 great boys." Left behind 3 great boys, a grandson, or granddaughter, his wife, lots of brothers and sisters, and tons of friends. He fought that cancer hard. Lasted much longer than the doctors thought he would. He lost that battle. But because of him, I got my life back. I will be forever grateful to him for that. The changes that I made gave me freedom. The freedom gave me clarity that I hadn't had. Anytime I started working, since before I started working, I never had this kind of clarity. What was important in my life? That clarity led to presence, not only with my family and friends, but with my clients. And what that did was attract more business. The fact that I had a clear mind and I was present with all my clients more than I'd ever been attracted more business. And eventually it attracted more than enough business. It changed my life. If you're living the life that you want to live, I am so happy for you. Gosh, I am really so happy. If you're the person that you want to be, you're blessed. You really are. If you're not, don't wait for a tragedy to make the changes. Do it now. There's always going to be excuses. Market's slow, I need to work 7 days a week. I used that. I'm doing this for my family. I used that. It was all just a bunch of excuses and justification for my addiction to more. If I could just get 4 more listings, I'd be able to do that for my family. If I could just get 3 more closings this year, I'd be able to do that for my family. It never stops. It's an addiction to more. I'm not saying to settle. I hate that word. I'm not saying not to have dreams. In fact, success is incumbent on dreams. What I'm saying is that you can have it all. Once you put your family, your friends, and you up here, the scale is always tilted in the favor of those 3 things. I call that living life unbalanced. Once you do that, you get freedom to go get your dreams. You don't have to worry about this anymore. It's already the top priority. It's been accounted for. It gives you the freedom to go get those dreams. Take what you've learned today or what you've seen today and formulate a plan. A plan that you know in your mind and you know in your heart is going to be successful. Don't listen to the yeah-buts, the what-ifs, and the naysayers. Nobody can tell you that you won't be successful. Only you can decide if you're going to be successful or not. Don't listen to them. Formulate your plan. Execute. Be consistent, persistent, determined. Launch that sucker and go get the life that you want to live. There's more than enough out there. Go get it. Go get it. Thank you for being here today. It really means something. I hope I was able to help you in some small way today. Thank you so much.